What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the World According to Briggs and another international video. Today we look at the best countries to retire on the cheap for 2021. A lot of Americans will retire with just their Social Security insurance. If you look at the numbers on that, it isn't easy to pull off here in the United States, and this sends a lot of Americans to cheaper and more affordable countries. And people start calling them expats. There's a study every year by the World Retirement Index that breaks down different things pertaining to retirement abroad. They look at many things like cost of living, safety, quality of life, healthcare, etc., etc. We take all their findings, put them in our numbers blender, and then we rank them. We did this list a few years ago, but the pandemic has changed some things, so it's time to take another look. If this is something you're looking into, look at this video as a starting point and do a lot more research. Retirement in a foreign country is a big step, and it should be over-researched if you ask me. Alright, let's see where you could live on Social Security. Number 10, Vietnam. Sadly, a lot of people think Vietnam is a dangerous place. It is not. It's actually safer than the United Kingdom and South Korea. Sometimes if a place has a strange history, it kind of sticks with us. The Vietnam War was decades ago, but a lot of Americans still think there is some kind of conflict going on in Vietnam. There is not. A lot of big name American companies have factories and stuff there, like Nike, for instance. They relocate a lot of their production staff over there to kind of oversee the manufacturing, and they'll live there for a year or two. Doesn't matter where you move to in Vietnam, just about every place you could pull off living there for about $1,500 a month. And that's living comfortably. That's not scraping by. And you don't have to live in the woods. You could live in the major cities and still live off about $1,500 a month. Vietnam has good health care, and a good portion of the population speaks English. Heat, humidity, and bugs are the big problem with Vietnam for most people, I would say. Number 9, Thailand. This one isn't new. Everybody that has ever thought about, moving abroad or retiring abroad, Thailand's been on their radar at least once. What is new is Thailand has seen a small dip in their cost of living and rents since the pandemic. That's despite the fact that they're seeing more and more people move here. This isn't just for retirees. Digital nomads have been flooding in for a couple of years now. You don't know what a digital nomad is? It's someone that just needs a computer to work. So if you want to be in a foreign country with a lot of other Westerners, this is a great option. A couple can survive here comfortably on about $1,200 a month. The closer you get to the ocean, and I'm not talking miles or villages away from the ocean, if you get 100 yards off the ocean, it can get a little more expensive. 50 yards, a little more expensive, typical of just about any other place. Number 8, Spain. Several different organizations say Spain has one of the lowest costs of living in Western Europe. A couple can live for about $2,400 a month in the major popular cities. If you go to the smaller cities or out in the country a little bit, which is really nice, you could survive on $1,500 a month for a couple, and that's, again, comfortably. This is another country where it's not really hard to find English-speaking locals, but it's Spanish. Just learn Spanish before you go. It's not incredibly hard. Took me about a year to be able to speak good Spanish. Mandarin, on the other hand, I tried for about a week, and I'll never go back. Spain is also considered a first world country with a low cost of living, which is strange. Normally, if you're moving to a first world country, it's a little expensive. Spain, there's a lot of areas that are extremely cheap. Spain also has one of the best healthcare systems in the world, and that's according to the World Health Organization. Number 7, Malaysia. Known for its beaches, its islands, and its rainforests, Malaysia is normally a tourist spot. It is a great country to visit, spend a week there, whatever. But a lot of people move there, and it should also be known for its low cost of living and nice people. English isn't the official language of Malaysia, but it sure seems like it is. Malaysia is one of the most beautiful places on the planet, and you'll probably never run out of things to see or do. Signs are also in English most of the time, so that helps you find all these cool places to visit. The cost of living here is very low, including rent. A couple can survive comfortably for around $1,700 a month. Number 6, Mexico. Ah yes, Mexico. If you're living in the United States and you don't know much about Mexico, probably what you do know is a bunch of negativity. They do have some issues down there, just like every country. I mean, the press tries to make it look like this is just this evil, dangerous place. It has its spots, just like every other country. I mean, we got Detroit, Southside Chicago, and East St. Louis. Crime and violence is everywhere, but Mexico has some beautiful places to live that are extremely affordable and very safe. The cost of living is incredibly low in Mexico. Two people can live there for between $1,600 a month and $2,800 a month. In Mexico, that number varies depending on where you land in the country. But that number includes your food, your rent, your health care. Number 5, Ecuador. Growing up in Southern California, in Redondo Beach and Torrance area, there was a large community of Ecuadorian people. It actually stemmed from 2 families that moved there in the 1930s. I went to school with, I guess they're the second or third generation that was born in the United States. And of course, my favorite thing to do was mispronounce their native country. I used to call it ECUADOR all the time. Oh my God, it drove them crazy. This one girl used to grab my face and mouth it, make, like squeeze my face like it was a puppet going, Ecuador, Ecuador. Great people. But the country of Ecuador is just south of Colombia on the Pacific Ocean and just kind of north and west of Peru. When Americans or Canadians or actually British people move to Ecuador, they stay in one of the coastal cities. They've got a couple good ones to choose from, including the country's capital. You can buy a condo or something like that for under $150,000, like right on the ocean. I was kind of looking at them, and you can actually find them for under $100,000 in some of the smaller cities. Rent will run you under $600, again, really close to the ocean. A couple can comfortably survive in Ecuador on about $1,600 a month. Number 4, Panama. I love Panama. I lived in Panama for a while. It's a great country. Outside of Cologne and the Panama City metro area, the country is small towns, very small cities, and jungle. It's a beautiful place. Very green, it's wet all the time, and it's hot most of the time. The good news is they don't get hurricanes or anything like that. If they do, it is very, very rare. But having 2 major bodies of water right next to each other kind of makes the weather change drastically very quickly. After that, this is a great place to live. If you don't mind the wet and the heat, wonderful place to live. They have good health care, and a lot of Americans live down there now too, and a lot of the people speak English. Here's an interesting fact. Panama City is the only first world city in Central America, according to the World Bank. Panama City is probably the most expensive place to live there, and you can get an ocean view condo for about $1,600 a month. Go down to Cologne, some other little small towns or small cities, and you're probably looking around maybe $1,000 or less a month to be really close to the ocean. Number 3, Belize. Belize is a small country nobody really knows about. It is south of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. It has Guatemala on its southern and western border and the Caribbean Sea to the east. This is kind of an underdeveloped country. They only have one real city, and that's Belize City. The northern section, like from Belize City on up, is where most expats are heading to. There's plenty of great small towns, coastline, dense jungle, which has some Mayan ruins in it. You can live comfortably in Belize City for about $1,600 a month. Number 2, Costa Rica. So we go from Belize, which people are just starting to find out about, to Costa Rica, where Americans and Canadians have been flocking to in their retirement for decades. Costa Rica is beautiful. They have jungles and plenty of coastline with great beaches and pretty good surf. I have relatives that go down there and surf every couple of years. A lot of cruise ships also dock in Costa Rica. So if you ever get a chance and you're going to take a cruise, let's say through the Panama Canal from like San Diego or Los Angeles, you'll probably stop in Costa Rica. My suggestion, get off the ship that day. It's worth it. We talked about Costa Rica before when we were talking about gaining citizenship in other countries. Costa Rica, because it's so popular, you got to jump through some extra hoops to get citizenship in this country, and that's because so many people are just flooding down there. They've got great health care. It's a socialized medicine program, which will cost just somewhere between 8 and 10% of your monthly income. Costa Rica is a very stable country. It's a solid democracy with some socialized programs that really just help out the population. You can live here comfortably with your socialized medicine payment and all your rent and food and everything like that, all things considered, for about $1,800 a month, but is probably one of the best countries to live in Central or South America. Before we get to number 1, don't forget we have another channel called On This Day. There is a link down below. We would love it if you went over there, checked out some videos, maybe subscribe, leave a comment, give some videos a big thumbs up, just like this video. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Portugal. If you are looking to retire to another country, you probably already know about Portugal. It is on everyone's list as the best place for expats to retire. Portugal is a very welcoming country. Portugal has the Atlantic Ocean on the west and the south border, with Spain on the east and the north border. From the 1500s to the 1800s, they were big at cruising across the ocean and planting their flag at different places. Over the decades and centuries, they've given back most of those places or they've gained their independence. But Portugal still has a lot of little islands, so if you become a citizen, you can go to them like the Azores. This small country had a big influence on world history. It is a very interesting subject. These days, it's being discovered by retirees from around the globe. A lot of retirees head to Portugal. They got great weather, good healthcare, wonderful people, things to do, and it's affordable. Is it as affordable as some of the other places on this list? No, but this is the best place to live, so it's going to be a little more expensive. A couple can live comfortably in Portugal for about $2,500 a month, and it's kind of worth it. It's one of the safest countries on the planet. Depending on the study you look at and the year you look at, they're usually in the top 5 for safest countries in the world. All right, so there you have it. 10 countries you could survive on an American Social Security. Maybe 9, because Portugal's a little expensive. You might need a little extra cash, but that country is totally worth the extra expense. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Be nice to each other.